Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Kratvam Peshimuranam Ramananda Madam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Vanchakal Pratavadya Sekripatam Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Some of you can come in the front. Some of you. Prabhu, you can also come.
Santosh.
Amani Prabhu.
Your name is Chaitanya. Prabhu, what's your name? Sharan?
Charan Renu Das.
Sharan Renu. First time.
Charan, yes, yes.
Slides what we showed yesterday. That's all open. And go to the power series and show the part where we are talking about Manjari. Selected. No. We selected the thing. Okay. Hare Krishna. So we discussed about Manjari concept yesterday. This is pre-Bhakti Viksha bridge program. So our objective is to ensure when members come to the Bhakti Viksha program, they don't drop off. Because earlier, 15 years back, we had this problem. I explained yesterday, right? That I am Paramatma Prabhu's friend. After 40 weeks, you'll get me in. I don't know what's going on. And I'll continue to be because I enjoy the company. But then the basics are missing. Then there's like a curriculum that, you have 72 lessons, you finish, and you have foundational and finer understanding of Krishna consciousness. Now, if you miss the whole foundational, and what you're going to do? Just because you have friends that we're not going to do anything beyond in Krishna consciousness. So we got away from that model. Because the dropouts were high because people get bored after a few weeks. Same time that we want to ensure that, like how in Bhakti Shastri and all those things, and you enroll and you're there till the time you finish. So Bhakti Viksha also, last 10, 15 years, we've been doing that because we don't want dropouts in between. And later on, we have a challenge. So to arrest that dropouts, we introduced this Manjari concept, which is 40 to 40 minutes to 1 hour. Those who started yesterday, from the last category of 20 to 30 minutes, we are converting them to 40 to 60 minutes. So in this, we have this many concepts like Tulsi Manjari, Gita Manjari. Gita Manjari, I think many of you may be familiar because we have been doing introduced when I came in 2017 also. Talk about Gita Mahatya, talk about some sloka. So I just continue doing for some time till the time we win them as friends. So once they have become friends, they wouldn't want to leave me. Then at some point in time, we can take a call and present to them separately, saying that we want to have an interactive program, which is called Bhakti Viksha. And this is now we are attending for 1 hour plus, and that's going to be 2.5 hours. So because they already used to sitting for 1.5 hours, they don't mind signing up for Bhakti Viksha. So when they reach the stage, you may not get dropouts because the lessons are very stimulative and they don't want to miss anything. If the Bhakti Viksha leaders conducts the way in which it has to be conducted. That's why we have facilitation training, which again we did many 4 or 5 years back. I'm not going to do this time facilitation skills training because I want to see all of you are already doing Manjari because this is going to be a bridge program. Those who are not used to Bhakti Viksha, they get a hang of doing this in a small group. They get more confidence. Then they can convert the same group to Bhakti Viksha group. Or we can identify more people who are actually undergone this Manjaris and form a Bhakti Viksha group. Then it's become a steady group, it doesn't rock. That's our concept idea. So in this that we have, as you know, we have Gita Manjari. There are many things we can do, which is very specific for a particular location. In China, I was trying to explain, we have Tulsi Manjari, Gita Manjari, Yoga Manjari, they're all very popular programs. So when they do Tulsi Manjari, they do a Tulsi Aarti program. So people don't even know how to respect Tulsi. So we teach them Tulsi Pranam Mantra, word by word, even for Chinese. So they just half an hour, 45 minutes, that, and they just, before they go, there is an Aarti. If they're not used to, because Buddhists, they know there is an incense. So they will also show because it's not a cultural shock for them. And similarly, in Europe also, we have this program, very popular. And then Italy and Zurich and all this. So become normal program now. Tulsi Manjari. And Gita Manjari is like normal. So they learn the Pranam Mantra. It takes over a period of time if you're not Indian. So it takes time. So, peacefully, without any hurry, you teach them and teach them what they get by doing that. The benefits of Tulsi worship, glories of Tulsi Maharani. All the tool form part of this Tulsi Manjari. Everything is in small bits. You don't sit and talk about Tulsi glories, completely 2-3 hours like a katha. No. A small portion of this program, Aarti, teaching them this, and they show an Aarti, the circumambulate, they water Tulsi Maharani, and you send them a prasad. All these things should not be more than max. And if they have any personal questions, they can stay back and interact with you because we are trying to win them as friends. So this is the Manjari concept. Now we also have some of these because some people like this, these kind of direct Krishna conscious related activities. Some people they don't want, but they want to be packaged. And we have another variation in Manjari, which is called. Next slide. This is what we call this variation is power series. We're talking about power of habits, power of association, power of mind, power of prayers, power of prasadam. So you see now these are all Krishna conscious terms. You see if if somebody is not very Krishna conscious, you don't want to give a direct introduction to Krishna conscious thing. You choose these topics, right? Attitude, names, knowledge, faith, principles, hearing, service, patience, modes. All these things are common across without using Krishna conscious. If you want Krishna conscious, also we can integrate that. So both these variations are available. Now, Manamali Prabhu also asked a question, do you have any templates like our Bhakti Viksha user guide? Now, purposely we didn't do it because every place, every situation is very different. The profile of the people are attending are going to be different. I'm going to show you this one sample demo today. If you feel that this can be used, then it's a different flavor. And the same topic we use in different place with a different flavor. So we just want to have box everything, all of your thought in one particular way that we need to deliver this particular topic. So that we keep that in mind while we're going through this power series presentation. Okay. Okay, now switch back to. Like in Bhakti Vriksha, that during this Manjari also, we want to make it as interactive as possible. Because if you don't make it interactive, people get into this mode of Shantarasa, like in Bhagavatam class. They'll just sit and, because unless you shake them up, they don't learn. But many of you know, one of the Bhakti Vriksha principles is, when you speak, you don't forget. Well, there's a lot of psychology built into this process that if you see, you remember, and sometime you remember, after some time you forget. But when you see and you also say something, will always register in your mind. So Bhakti Vriksha is built based on those psychology too. So this is a pre-Bhakti Vriksha program, so we don't want it to be kind of a one way that you just hear and go. So that's why Manjari also, when it comes to this, but other Manjaris, you're just more of delivering something in a digestible format in a short time. This is going to be, power series especially going to be interactive. How much ever you want to make it interactive, very good, because your Bhakti Vriksha shall be lively if you get them on this mode.
Then it is not necessarily 45 minutes.
The whole idea is I'm trying to steal your time. Please remember that target. From 0 to 1 to now 30. If they're ready to listen and just sitting for more time.
Yeah, but then it should not be that this week they're sitting, next week they get jittery that, oh my God, if I go there.
That is why we are defining the higher time limit. If I just give it this openly, then it'll go on. So if any questions coming out of this, you take it offline, one by one. Maybe one person asking a question, don't punish others by just talking on this for next 2 to 3 hours. So we have to be very important in terms of time concepts. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start this. We're starting. I don't know, many people are there. I will just pick some names, and while I'm interacting, please don't mistake, because we have time constraint here. I'm sure that all of you would like to interact. Once again, your name, Prabhu? Sharan Renu Prabhu. And Chaitanya. Okay, all of us more or less I know. Okay. What do you see in this picture? So if you want, before you speak, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll choose the name. Yes.
It's
You put up this light.
Lights.
If they're not in position to see. They're okay? Back, front, everyone? Okay. What do you see in this? Mandamali Prabhu?
So, it's raining, but the droplets of water are not. The flower is irrespective of the water falling. It's not being affected by the water. It just water.
Okay, thank you. Next.
It's a rose flower, which is kept more active by sprinkling water.
Okay, thank you. Namruchi Prabhu?
Yeah, somebody is sprinkling.
Somebody is sprinkling water. Why don't you think that Lord is sprinkling water, Prabhu? Somebody is.
As a pujari, like I'm
Oh, Pujari is really successful now. Very good. Pavan Prabhu, what comes to your mind?
The rose petal. It does not affect the rose.
Okay.
What I just said.
Which mother lifted hand? What's your name? I don't know. I know.
Say the water droplets, red color, rose color.
That's all comes to mind. Shruti Priya Mataji. Yes.
I'm just attracted to the beauty of this flower. Because Krishna made it so beautiful. And
Yeah.
the drops of water also is enhancing the beauty.
Wonderful. Thank you. Chaitanya.
Yes. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay.
Beautiful flower, which is because of the water, it's making it better.
Okay. I don't know this girl. You see what? Rose flower, nothing beyond. Okay. Thank you. Nitai Dialogy.
Rose flower, yeah, with a water droplet, with the beauty of that.
Okay.
Red rose, which is a symbol of love. And with the water droplets on it, it's gives you a feeling as if it is like in a fresh, in a garden in the morning, that the fresh rose that you see, and then there's dew drops on it, and just
Rishi. I'm deaf. Sorry.
It's a
Okay. Viraj. Mm-hmm. Haripriya.
rose and like someone is pouring it on raining. Maybe it just rained and the water droplets are still on the roads. Except instead of being outside the car, it's inside.
Okay. So let's hear from Tulsi Dayamai.
It's like the rose with water droplets, but the water droplets don't dilute the beauty of the rose, like the qualities of the rose enhances.
Wonderful. So, okay. So many things, many people said here. What is in common? When you see this, what comes to your mind immediately? Beauty, wonderful. Shruti Priya Mata said it's very attractive, didn't we?
freshness.
It's very attractive, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's a freshness.
Yeah, who said? Yes, freshness. What do you see here? Yes.
2 flowers to offer to one.
Well, this is the devotees challenge, you know. So this program we run for the non-devotees also. So that's a difference why I said that depends on the profile of the devotees. What comes to your mind, Chaitanya?
There's a different purple colors. It's different. It brings out the color because the background is, fairly light color.
Yes, the concept is that
Close up.
it's not close up. We're not just trying to, because all of you are devoted, I'm trying to explain the background between what I'm trying to present here. Okay. So we are trying to present that the beauty of this, you get attracted, right? Do you get attracted or not? Any of you don't get attracted to this? Any of you don't get attracted to this? Yes or no? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, next slide. Oh, relieved. What do you see here? Anamali Prabhu, what comes to mind?
The bee is trying to extract the honey from.
Honey. So it got attracted to the rose, naturally.
Yeah.
It's just sucking the nectar, right? So, any other thoughts?
Taking nectar from multiple flowers.
Multiple flowers, okay. Any other thoughts?
Taking it at face value, Yes, it's pretty, but what's prettier is the nectar inside.
Nectar inside. Okay, good. Different angles of the bee. That's a good point. I've not heard that, huh? Purnanandi Maths, do you have any thoughts on this? Okay. Multiple flowers naturally get attracted. So the idea is that so we're talking about the power of attitude. Now, all of us as individuals, we all wear an attitude. Question is, do we get attracted like the roses? How we naturally get attracted to the beauty of the roses? And so many people said so many things. And what makes us attractive generally is our attitude. How many of you agree with me?
Yes.
There's something.
Yeah, so the point is, we need to introspect that whether, like how the bees, they are getting attracted to these roses. So whether our attitude is like that rose, which attracts others.
Remember, we are all in the field of selling the holy names, right? We want to be in the market and we want to sell because we are very deeply indebted to Srila Prabhupada, grateful that we want to offer back to Srila Prabhupada. So we are in this market of selling the holy names. And if you're not attractive, I want to buy from you. Okay? So now, oftentimes that people just generally speak also, this guy's attitude is not good. Do we say this sometimes? Or at least we hear, right? And this guy's attitude is bad.
Or we say attitude dikhata hai. He shows attitude.
So we're going to briefly see at a very high level how this attitude plays a significant part and significant role in our lives. So we just at a very high level. Okay, so it's a definition. It's a simple definition of attitude from the dictionary. So it is nothing rocket science. All what you know is what I'm just brought it up here. A position assumed for a significant specific purpose, a mental position with regard to a fact or state, a bodily state of readiness to respond in a characteristic way to a stimulus such as an object, concept, or situation, a negative or hostile state of mind. These are some of the things we use generally for attitude. Okay? No questions asked in this. Next. Yeah. Just one click. After this, one click. Okay, just fine. It's okay. I've lost the sequence. So what is this? Now that we're going to see a little more in depth, what is attitude? What do you see here?
He's kind of like what we say, he is full in himself.
Admiring.
Kind of
Admiring.
her.
Yeah. What? Very nice. What else?
He's handsome.
Wow. Okay, thank you, Viraj. Anyone else?
Appreciating himself.
He's appreciating himself. He's obsessed with something. Appreciating or obsessed?
Obsessed.
Obsessed. Okay, wrong.
Going on to what he said,
Hmm.
he thinks he can.
He's thinking he's handsome. Rishi? Nothing comes to mind? Tavish?
Like obsessed with himself and admiring.
Admiring. Okay. Anyone else? He's smiling, trying. Okay. So he's seeing all possible ways that. So, yes, Mataji.
I'm seeing that he's happy with himself, but happiness is attracting me. Like it's a positive thing.
Yeah. So,
And although he's obsessed about himself and false ego, there's something positive about his happiness.
yeah. So the fundamental thing, what makes our attitude, what builds our attitudes, our false ego. Now, we all know we are all practicing devotees, so I'm presenting it differently. This is a fundamental problem, right? We think what we are not. Correct? That's what is false ego. We think what we are not. We are not this body, but we spend so much time dressing. Prabhupada says that, right? If we are not Krishna conscious, it's a decoration for the dead body. So, when you present us to secular people, that you say that, how we are obsessed with our own self, present it, but I'm just, making it a little more Krishna conscious for all of you. The fundamental problem for anyone who's obsessed is that they were identifying ourselves with the body. And that drives you crazy and drives people around you also crazy. Because, which is a significant portion of our life, which is we are demonstrating the attachment and the desires, what we actually building ourselves for around us. So that's going to primarily drive your attitude, the way in which you conduct yourself, the way in which you deal with others. So what kind of way that you deal, how you deal, it's again, if you're identifying that you're not this body, you're the spirit soul from a Krishna conscious point of view, your attitude is different. But if you're not, obviously, from a material point of view, that I'm the vice president, executive vice president, senior vice president, the more you grow, the more your ego is being demonstrated based on the clothes you wear, the way you speak, everything just changes. And directly, proportionately also in Krishna consciousness, if you're not identifying and humbling yourself, if you're acting in a false ego platform, that also drives others crazy because of your attitude, people are going to be hot. You're thinking that you're a great devotee, but if you ask other devotees, oh, Prabhu, I can't tell anything in front of him. It's very difficult, Prabhu. It happens many times. That's one of the important components to consider in your attitude. Next. So this is what we also see, an extension of our understanding. We don't say that what you see here in this picture. Okay, so the rickshaw fellow will say, oh, Benz Gadi, hata arja. Or the Benz will say, oh, rickshaw, move away. So we don't generally see the driver inside, and the driver is the one who's actually involved in this. Right? So, but otherwise we say, rickshaw, move away. Or the Benz, you move away. That's how the general communication is, right? So we forget that who's driving, and we just give more weightage for the body. So that is going to drive our attitude largely. That's an extension of what you saw earlier in the first slide. Okay, next. We think what we are not. So this is what we call false ego, and that's going to be one of the important component of what we're seeing in our attitude. Next. Now, this is one of the important aspects that we need to see. What makes our attitude? Apart from false ego, past life conditioning. And we don't know. Somebody is acting in a particular way. As a family, if you see that somebody is acting indifferent, but still we are put up. One of the family members or many other family members, different situation, they act differently or they react differently, or we ourselves out of control, we do many things. And where it's all coming in from? Our past life conditioning. That we don't know that where we inherit it, but it's also having a say in our attitude, the way we conduct ourselves. So we have to be very critically analyze ourselves, not others. That what is that which it drives me, which I'm not in a position to manage or control. We just carrying it. 100 lifetimes of karma, what we have done, that's all showing some kind of signs of what we have accumulated in this very life. So that's also going to have a big say in the way we conduct ourselves. One of the other important components is our upbringing. What you see here, nice families, isn't it? One is in the mode of passion, the other is in the mode of goodness. I don't want to say that in mode of goodness, because when I present to the secular world, I don't say more. But it's the two families. And we know no monkeys are peaceful, right? They just jump every minute. Will be just looking for an opportunity to jump. But whereas we have our cow family, they're very peaceful by nature. Now, if you see that, when I say upbringing, what kind of family life, what kind of grandparents, what kind of parents you have or had, that is also going to drive the way in which you behave. Right? So, this guy is like monkey, we say, no? Why do we say that? Because they're not peaceful by nature. So this has got a large influence, our upbringing has got a large influence on our attitude. That's going to either make it or break it. So that's why this component is also very important. Otherwise, people don't want to deal with you if they don't say. Association. The next important component in building our attitude is association. What kind of association we live in? We are all in some club where there's only time passes, just go and drink and just while your time. Then obviously you're classified drunkard. That what drunkards do, and But similarly, you see, there's a pack of dogs. Do you think that they are peaceful at any point in time? Pack of dogs. We have a problem there. And as against the swan. Focus on their purpose, right? When they're clear about what they want to do and how they have to lead their purpose. So association matters a lot when you have to make your attitude. And the last one is willpower. Now we have seen again in Bhagavad Gita, if you have the yogis have to achieve something, that they need to have willpower to successfully complete what they are actually set off. And you see from another example that what is the kind of sport is this? How many of you know? Pole vaulting. So how many of you can run? How many of you can do this? So it is not that all athletes can become pole vaulter, right? Because it's required practice. You have to run fast, also run with the pole, and also have to use the pole to jump so high. So it's required practice and willpower. Not everyone can become pole vaulter. Not everyone become a successful yogi. And what drives this? If you have to have willpower, again, from a Krishna conscious point of view, you have to be determined. From a material point of view, willpower to achieve something, you have the drive, you should have the motive. And even if you have to achieve something materially also, you should have the willpower. I will do it. From a Krishna conscious point of view, that if you are not strong in your sadhana practices, and specifically if you are breaking any of the regulated principles, you will not have determination. And people without determination, you can't achieve anything in bhakti. Because that's going to drive fundamentally our services, our approach, and our advancement in Krishna consciousness. Next slide. So just keep clicking. So these generally from what we understand the Krishna consciousness, that these constitutes attitude. Now, look at a situation. You are not an egoistic person. And your past life conditioning is okay. You're not just, hurting people by your action. And you're a nice guy. But your upbringing is bad. And because of your upbringing, which you imbibe through your upbringing, the way in which your parents or grandparents has brought you up. Like say, for example, if you have to say anything, and simple thing, why you have not started this program at 1:30? All I can say is that I was late. But what I will do, I can bring a white lie. Gaurkishore Prabhu did not come on time. So that's how I was brought up, because I have seen my parents lying for anything, any small thing. All I'm saying is that I'm sorry I got delayed because of, last minute there was some call, something. You say what you have to say honestly, but you choose to speak a lie. And why? Because you've seen the whole family speaking a lie. And that drives your attitude, because I know this guy is going to speak a lie. And if you speak a lie, that shows about your attitude, right? People know that you are not honest guy. I'm speaking from even material point of view, because that you're valued if you're an honest guy. They expect a transparency and all that, right? So if you have a bad upbringing, and if you have an association, maybe a good association. But if you don't have willpower, I will do it tomorrow. Procrastinating, doing so many things which is not encouraged even materially, leave alone the spiritual angle of it, spiritual part of it. We are procrastinating that, I don't have willpower, like let's do it later. So out of this 5 components, if any of one is missing or few missing, do you think that you have a better attitude? What is the pitfall of not having a right attitude for you, from your point of view? Yeah, so people just try to avoid, because we are as I said, we are trying to be devotees. We are trying to reach out. We want to associate with other devotees, fellow devotees, and if they are very cleverly avoid you, what does it mean? You have some problem in any of this, right? So we need to introspect and identify what kind of attitude we wear and how we conduct ourselves. Because if you want to be successful in spiritual life, that we need to have a right attitude, which is more positive, service-oriented, helpful, caring, loving, so many things which is involved in this attitude. Let's see the other side. Okay, 1. What do you see here? Are growing nicely or grown nicely and now wilted? What do you see here?
The flower at premature state got restricted its progress.
Okay, what else?
It's not watered.
Water.
Yeah, it is not watered.
Yeah, so the whole primary point is,
How is the rose? Dull.
is it the same rose what you saw?
So between the two, which rose you like? So you're not attracted to this.
Right? So similar in our situation, that because of the components involved in our attitude, what we need to necessarily monitor, even if one is not missing, and you can claim yourself a devotee, but nobody's attracted to you, then what are you going to do? If you are going to be in a secular world, if you're a manager, and if you have to be a successful manager, You need to have a positive attitude. Otherwise, you can't manage your subordinates well. Then they are going to give you negative comments about my manager. So similar is the situation here. The same rose what we saw, after it is wilted, it's no longer attractive. So similar is our situation. If any of the component of our attitude, what we discuss, even if one is imbalanced, then this is like this. Okay, next one. How many of you like this guy? Who is he? It's Conway from one of the US prisons. Do we want to associate with him? No. So we're kind of, we're saying that we're saying something, but others are saying differently. From his point of view, you have a purpose that why he did something which he did. But others are seeing, we are all seeing him differently, right? That's how we're going to be if our attitude is not balanced in the right way. We're thinking we are nice, handsome, with nice tattoos on, everything. He feels he's a great guy, but do you like him? No. The world's best software engineer. He can write code like anything. How many of you want to associate with him? He lives in Bay Area, under a tree.
Garbage.
Anybody want to work next to him? That's what it is. People just very cleverly, even though what we are, what our capabilities are, they don't want to approach us. And this is what we see in our real life, even from a Krishna conscious point of view. Next. Basically, we're obnoxious. People don't want to deal with you. How do I block you in real life? They don't speak, but they just speak with others. That I don't want to deal with you. So again, what if I don't have right attitude? What is that I may lose? Or what is the what happens to me if I don't have right attitude? If you just understand a little more, that we have make an effort to understand that we need to change our attitude. Friends, unpopular, no one want to deal with you. Why do you not open for feedback, arrogant, negative mentality, read between lines, don't have basic trust, selfish, close-minded, end of learning, no hope for progress in life, vengeful, envy and hatred. You lose out if your attitude down, right? Expectation don't meet reality, always blame others. Proud, stupid, perfect recipe for disaster in life, criticizing mentality. These are some of the things that people don't have right attitude will demonstrate. And this is all indication that there is somewhere problem in those 5 areas what we discussed. All those things will speak and have a direct bearing on those 5 components what we discussed. Okay, next. People with the right attitude. Positive by nature, optimistic, full of positive thoughts, careful when they speak, organized, humble, opposite of arrogance, because humility brings knowledge. In case if you're ignorant, that brings arrogance. Gentle, responsible, respond, not react.
Right.
Aligned to the goal, personal organization, always eager to learn, open for feedback, leader. These are some of the things that if you have the right attitude. And that actually make you demonstrate all this if you have a positive attitude. But people get attracted to you, people come to you for help, you're helpful, people know that you don't let them down. These are some of the expectations for being a spiritual personality as a leader. If you don't demonstrate, who is going to demonstrate? And everything is nice about this devotee, but if you go in the evening, you start acting crazy and you will start everything you deal with in the morning, Prabhu. What does it mean? There are different categories available in ISKCON, right? So we have assessed based on the way they act and react. We categorize them, unfortunately. That, if you're going to represent an organization and a spiritual organization like ours, that we got to be extremely careful that how we conduct ourselves. And for that, we need to demonstrate right attitude, that people don't get paranoid with us, what we speak, how we act. Sometimes, we say, we are talking to some devotee, then the next devotee will give a sign, oh, this guy is, hopeless, And suddenly, accidentally, we see that, what will happen to you? The reputation is lost. Many things we do, which is not healthy being a Krishna conscious person. If you're a Bhakti leader, whatever capacity you are, as a devotee, you need to wear a best attitude. That is why we are in Krishna consciousness. We understand we are not perfect. We want to develop to be a perfect personality. At least we can say, demonstrate, like how Srila Prabhupada is saying, I'm not perfect. The process what I follow is perfect, and I know for sure this will make me perfect. So that kind of a mood, that kind of an attitude, if you don't demonstrate, there's no point we claiming to be leaders or even devotees. Krishna conscious point. Of course, this is a different kind of a presentation when it comes to people who are not Krishna conscious, the same topic. And this is specifically for the devotees, more from the quote from Srila Prabhupada's scriptures. Can somebody read this? Question, yes.
That out of the 5 components of having a positive attitude, if even one of them is not there, then we have a bad attitude, right? How do we develop the right attitude? One of them is something we can't control, like that.
So
That's what we're going to see in the.
yeah. So we're going to see. I hold on to your question, okay? So can somebody read this? Yes, Ram.
It's actually better to be a Shudra than to be a Brahmana and not develop the service because the attitude alone satisfies the Lord. Both Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam support that this service attitude is the perfection of this social developing the attitude.
Right? One. Next one. Who is reading? Yes.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 17th chapter, 27. Look, if one poses himself as an acharya but does not have an attitude of servitorship to the Lord, he must be considered an offender. And this offensive attitude disqualifies him from being an acharya. Influenced by an envious temperament and dissatisfied because of an attitude of self-gratification.
Okay, next.
The service attribute of the devotee gradually increases and never becomes stagnant. Generally, in old age, a person is allowed retirement from mundane service, but in the transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. On the contrary, the service attitude increases more and more the progress of the.
Because by your wisdom, by your knowledge and understanding, whatever mistakes you've done, you're just by doing devotional service, you're just correcting your path and just developing a positive attribute. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Yeah. Next.
The proper method for receiving this transcendental message, to hear it submissively. A challenging attitude cannot help one realize this transcendental message. One particular word is used herein for proper guidance. This word is Toshrushu. One must be anxious to hear this transcendental message. The desire to sincerely hear is the first qualification. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.15.
Next one. Radhika.
Vaishnava.
Hare Krishna. Okay, next.
Living to hear the message of this scripture is a submissive attitude of service. Can at once capture the Supreme Lord in their hearts.
There are many quotes like this because I just chose because I'm presenting to the devotees. And if it is for non-devotees, I wouldn't present this. And I would stop at that because they have to sit to think. Next slide. The last slide. What do you see here? One more lesson.
Looks like the zoomed in version of the Vishnu.
Zoomed in version. Okay. What else you see? Anyway, I don't know. Yes.
The mushroom is very temporary. This is a tree that's compressed for many years, that's taken hardships and found the contours. One section of the tree.
Yes. So whether the question is that whether you want to have a life of mushroom or you want to be deep, grown nicely over years. And that's what is your attitude. Now, if you want to know how to correct yourself, come for the next session. We're going to talk about power of association. Haripriya's answer. Your question answered. Next week, we are going to take power of association. If
So
you
you
want
asked how to past life conditioning. We don't have any control over that. So what to do about that?
so in
So
the,
yes, that question will be answered next week.
if you have an attitude problem, you associate with somebody who is
So
wonderful.
that's how we inspire them to come. next
So
week.
this is exactly what this is going to connect. Each topic is
They
going
are
to.
all very elevated.
Yes.
Probably, she pointed out these 5 things, right? Like, if someone observes that, they would like resent from coming towards you. Right? But I've seen a couple of situations where, okay, there is a devotee there, right? I think he is having all the, he or she is having all the 5 qualities. But the new person who is coming, right? He will see that person as, someone who is like very far above, and like, if I go near, they'll feel somewhat envious to them in some way, that new person. So they won't be like approaching them because, okay, if I approach them, my ego will go. So it feels like, an ego imbalance or something. So how do we deal with that kind of situation?
See that the whole idea of being devotee, as I told you, the knowledge will make you humble. So the only way is to make yourself accessible by understanding you are not all. You are just a messenger, like Srila Prabhupada is saying. Knowledge brings you humility. If somebody is just putting on a show, I know everything and all that, and creating a barrier between you and them, he's not a true devotee. Devotee means that you're humble, you're approachable, accessible. You're here to help. That kind of mentality and attitude you should wear. It's not that, I'm showing up. I know if I touch the side, 1,000 slokas will come. This side, 200 slokas. It's not that. All is for you to realize that you have to be a humble servant of the Lord, servant of the Lord. That's what Mahaprabhu's teachings are. So we need to demonstrate that I may not be 100% there, but at least you say, I'm trying. Be honest. That will win several hearts. This guy is very down to earth. Even though he knows so many things, he doesn't rattle as if you know everything. Even though you present yourself that I'm also like you. And the fact is that if not for Srila Prabhupada, we wouldn't have learned all this. Probably I would be worse than you. So where all this knowledge came from? It's not me. It's Srila Prabhupada. So I have nothing to feel proud about this. That is what we need to wear as our attitude as ISKCON devotees. Because it's what Prabhupada is demonstrating. I am a simple, humble servant of my spiritual master representing him. And all the work is coming from him. That's what will make you attractive.
Now, this demo which you have shown, power of attitude, right? So I know you can't bring those slides, but you not able to. So now, as you keep doing this now, I mean, in reality, these are the demos which we are doing the new people. So somewhere down the line, we need to connect them to Krishna. So how do you suggest that?
Yeah, so
for instance, it's not easy, right?
See now the same deck without changing that, I can use it for non-devotees also. You downplay it, these are some of the scriptural references and blah blah blah. It's the way you present that they're going to be attentive. Yeah, and then I look for an opportunity. If they see it, but what is it said? Where is it? It's from Srimad Bhagavatam.
So what happens is that they're
Because,
hearing something from Srimad Bhagavatam. So that also, that itself is giving them some sympathy.
Our idea is to draw them to Krishna consciousness, right? We are stealing their time without their knowledge. That's our objective.
So like we take this Manjari or Power series. How do we get them into the Bhakti itself? Like,
Yeah, so
how do we make the transition?
Yeah. So now, while if you see in this room, I'm already friendly with everyone.
Yeah.
And nobody in the room that I don't know. I have a relationship built. And this is what is an ideal situation when you conduct this program, because it's the corporate or wherever you are, you need to know everyone because everyone is important to you. Because everybody is sent by the Lord to hear about the Lord. Krishna has given you an opportunity to talk about it. So I'm equally interested in everyone. That is there in my heart. So I build relationship at any cost. Maybe some may not work out. Maybe they may, like how Chaitanya was saying, that they may see that this guy is very arrogant. Perception varies, right? So I need to still work on. Out of 20 people in the room, that somebody is saying, oh, this guy is rattling. Somebody is saying, oh, very nice. A different people perception there. So I would want both. Because if everything that whatever they're going to hear, then maybe I will start thinking I'm God. So I also need to be grounded. So I need people like that to understand how do I just convince this person? That's a challenge for me. If everybody is easy prey to me, then I get puffed up and my policy will go, my attitude will change. So it's a self-balancing, right? Preaching. So I will connect with them as a friends, and not that after this I'm going to leave you. Then I'm going to call Haripriya, how do you like this presentation? And why do you think that you thought past life condition is challenge for you? This is my conversation going to be for her. So that gives me an opportunity to connect with her. And if I answer, she's happy. Oh, very nice. I want to come for your next week class. John.
And also, it's not that only Haripriya had that question. Somebody else also would have had it. So when you call them, yeah, the day she asked this question, I also would like to know the answer. So then we know that they are also interested.
So once it's done, the 20 people who sat, I'm going to be in touch with them.
Maybe, but then if you had not called them, maybe they would not have come. But then when you call them and then you develop that special personal relationship, then they're introspecting. And then you could just speak more about it. Yes, no, this question will be addressed next week. So it will be nice if you could come.
And I'm not going to talk about the subject which is coming next week. I'm going to talk about the person what she asked. I'm interested in find out why she is introspecting that. Maybe she has identified some problem in her, or she is finding some problem in somebody else in their family or outside friendship, wherever. She is actually either positively thinking about it because there's a positive support and positive conditioning, or it could be negative that we need to identify and help her. That gives an opportunity to give a Krishna conscious solution. It could be offline, but it gives me the opportunity to connect with her. That's what I'm looking for.
And also understand her.
Yeah, out of 20, even if one is with me, I'm done. We are in the gold business, not in carrot and potato business, right? So this is what we want to do.
And Prabhu, then once this is the Manjari program is coming to an end, like suppose say like we take like 10 weeks or 12 weeks, and then when we want to ask them that we will have a longer duration program.
Correct.
So how do we?
Yeah, so that exactly this is what I'm going to do. Then now I already communicated with Haripriya and I already connected with Chaitanya and others. So I'm going to do one-on-one call with them. So you like this format? It's like, yes, it's very nice, Prabhu. Yeah, we have a much more interesting interactive version is also we're going to introduce. Would you be interested in signing up? I'm going to just briefly talk about how that Bhakti Viksha system works. The interaction, every week there is a lesson. It's been tested. It's been so many, many people have accepted it positively. I'm sure that you would enjoy. Give a positive presentation about it because we are convinced about it. What kind of life and what kind of a transformation it brought in devotees' life who have gone through this whole module. So give the presentation to her first, and she said, "Okay, I'm ready to send."
But you also have to tell them that it's a little longer duration. You may have to give some more time for it because we are going to have discussions. So you have to mentally prepare them for that. That they have to give more time.
So then I'll speak to her. Yeah, I'll speak to her. I'll speak to him. 20 people, I just spoken to them during a normal conversation after this program, during the week. Then when they come for the last program, so a couple of weeks before I'm going to end this series, as I spoke to you, many of you one-on-one, we are just actually, we're all doing very well and we are doing very nicely as a team. So I'm going to introduce a very nice, wonderful interactive program, as many of you agreed. And this is the program, this is the schedule, what are you going to do? Are you going to give them an option? This is the time you're looking at. We require 200 hours. It would be, give some option. You be prepared. Ask them to put a tick. Okay, Saturday afternoon, how many? Sunday afternoon, how many? Like that. So they are pinning them down and they're done.
And you never speak to them in a group.
Okay.
If you're going to give this proposal to a group, if one person speak negatively, everybody will listen.
Exactly, it's coming. Yeah,
You should never do. That is why is Krishna conscious. The relationship is personal. It's not a group relationship, right? It's a personal relationship. Why? Once you've done this, then you say, as everybody agreed, we're going to start this. End of the story.
So the options, what you said, you are giving individually to the person.
You have to invest the time because we want to win their time. The relationship is important to me.
You give the option. You don't tell them which time is open for you. You tell, will Saturday 12:30 work for you or Sunday 1 o'clock work for you?
You just come to some common consensus where you are available and try to box them in. Otherwise, 20 people give 20 different options. Where you will go?
So in the group, when we are introducing that any Bhakti Viksha is coming, by then we would have
already spoken.
And
taken their commitment
already.
It's a question of which day, what time is only to be discussed when you're talking about it.
But there could be some critical people who may say negative in a group also.
So that is what which is going to speak about you because you're not built relationship. You had so much of time.
It's one's own.
Yeah, you're on as a facilitator. You have a problem. You don't connect with them, or we have a problem which you don't know how to handle. You're not connected with somebody else. Ask for help.
Okay. Even though I see there is a big problem with this person, I could have took some suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you say no. If somebody's hell bent on this that they don't want to do it, we can announce it publicly. I spoke to everyone, all of you. I think all of you are upbeat about it, except for say Tulsi Dayamai. She seems to have some disconnect. Make it public so they don't cross talk and just convince others. These are some of those principles that we apply.
Maybe they have some challenges.
So make it public that she's the only one who's going to cause problem. I will just cornered her. So anyone who just try to convince also, everybody will be aware. Okay, no, that's some problem.
Okay.
Say openly. There's nothing to hide here. They come to some consensus. You make it open.
Because sometimes what happens even amongst devotees also, sometimes we see like that's why we need to be very alert also. Sometimes we see when some people are very nicely engaged in some services, but somebody may not want to do services, but then they don't like that the others are doing services, so they will negatively influence them.
So if you just categorize them, it's all coming into that. It's all attitude problem. And we need to identify where.
Oh, why are you doing so much service? There's no need for you to do so much service. And I mean, you're serving the Lord. And you have to be happy that, okay, I'm not able to do it, but somebody else is doing it. So nice. I hope I could do like them, you know. Instead of thinking like that, they say, oh, why are you serving? It's not good, you know.
Yeah. Everybody's doing what
Yeah.
it's doing, so they want some companion.
Yeah, because see, that is what the attitude. That's exactly what I'm saying. So it's a one bad apple, we say, right? Like that. But how do we help everyone? We need to have a solution for everyone because they are just looking up to Krishna consciousness. So if you're talking about non-devotees, that's how the secular world works. But we're talking about Krishna consciousness, we should have compassion for everyone. Because somebody don't have the right attitude, that we need to spend more time to make them understand. It's not that, you know, this people is bad, throw them out. Prabhupada saying that, you know, we are in the hospital. ISKCON is like an hospital. Somebody's got a stomach pain, somebody's broken leg, somebody's got head is not working. Right? So we have all sorts of problems. So we can't just discard, you know, my head is working, you know, this person is crazy. You know, kind of. But we need to give them solution with love and care. That's why we are here. It's not that condemn somebody is doing like that.
Like she asked, if we don't have this past life conditioning, then if that is not there, the whole it does not make up the whole attitude. So how do we help such a person? So like that, when we find that such persons are there, we need to help them. But the others also have to be aware of such a person. Please don't be influenced. Okay, we are helping the other person, but the others also need to be a little alert. Okay, you know, they also need to understand that, you know, yes, you know, I'm trying to do the service and this person is negatively influencing me, so I need to be a little aware.
So,
I mean, sometimes it happens in the beginning. People are too excited to ask for many things so much, you know. Is it something you should give an answer everything at one go?
Yesterday, Rasma was saying, preaching is not always speaking. You should know also how to when to shut up. That's also preaching.
That's good, but okay, when there too much.
Yeah, so you just don't answer. It's not necessary for every question need to be answered.
Like say, for example, if a 5th standard student asks you about trigonometry, ask the maths teacher about the trigonometry, you know, the teacher will not give a big lesson on trigonometry, right? Because that person is not ready for that. I'm not talking about exceptions. I'm not talking about exceptions. I'm talking about the general populace. They are not still ready for it. Even if the teacher gives that lesson on trigonometry, that person is not able to digest it. The child is not able to digest it. So we need to say, oh, please hold on. We are getting there. Right.
See, now
this is required.
Common thing among Indians. The moment they make an interactive class, immediately saying they're waiting. I want to talk about Lord Shiva. What these ISKCON people are going to say. They're waiting, you know, just like, Hare Baba, everything coming. Just wait.
Or Sai Baba.
Yeah, most strong.
Yeah, so see, now everything's got a solution for this, but you know, we don't want to just make them feel, oh, now you got an opportunity to finish this guy off. If you think like that, you know, you're not finishing that guy off, the other 20 people are going to be finished off. The way you handle them. Way you handle this person, 20 people are going to get hurt the way you handle it. It's not that we don't have a solution, but we need to think everything. So everything with love and care. This whole program, when we started this Bhakti Viksha, it is called Love and Trust Group. Believe me. Love and Trust Groups. Love and Trust Groups. And you know, it really sounded well, but then we initiated to become Bhakti Viksha because we want to be more Krishna conscious. Exactly that word.
The Bhakti tree.
It's built, foundation, everything is on love and care. We don't want to discard anyone. Everyone requires love and care. Everybody need to change because all of us have 4 defects. Not that your defect is better, my defect is bad. Right? So we need to understand all that. So we have a solution. About giving solution, they're going to love you for life because it's going to be a mentor. Who knows? Maybe Paramatma Swami become sannyasi and they'll become.
Don't scare Mother.
Oh, see, she got permission. You have to get
Record it, record
You got it already cleared, Paramatma. Only you got to sign.
We got his services now.
Okay, carry. Catch you. Thank you for
Thank you.
attending. This is Vanamali Prabhu. That's my met. You know, met. Any other questions? How many of you are familiar to this attitude? Anything which you want to share? Somebody say here or outside? Okay, sorry, Prabhu, you go on. What's your reflection?
It was very nice. Really helped me to introspect myself more. And I felt like preaching doesn't mean only just speaking. It's basically the character of the person who presents the message. Along the message, how we demonstrate as a Krishna conscious person that is equally important, not only the message.
May I know what's your material background?
True, I'm an engineer.
Software engineer? Okay, so now forget you're a devotee. How do you see this? How it's going to help you in, if you have to make you forget that you're a devotee, then I'm giving you a presentation on this attitude, how far you will stand this on attitude? And do you see that you took any message home?
Like in work culture and all, we'll see different people reacting differently with us. So we'll not blame them or try to hold pressure in them, but we'll try to see how their background they are coming up and their different conditioning. That's how I will see. And if any subordinate in case is not picking up properly, and also I think maybe he lacks some willpower or something like that. In that kind of
It helps you. What's your reflection on this? Whichever you like, maybe both, because you're doing both. Yeah, why not? Can you just
when in the first slides where you showed how we are attracted to something, right? Why would you be attracted to something if you see like some very good quality in it, right? So if a general person, if he's very approachable and if you him standing there and doing that regular things, it's so attractive that you want to accept it. So that message was there. It's about how attractive you are with respect to your personality, the way you deal with it. That brings people to you. How passionately you show love to them, build a relationship with them. So that was very key thing.
Okay, anyone else? Mataji? Yes, sir. Shruti Priya Mataji.
This is like building the relationship, which is what I like, because even in the material world at workplace, when somebody takes these things, one-on-one attention, the person feels special. Group of 20, the person will think as a whole, being addressed one-on-one. So when you talk, you said to talk to them one-on-one, it makes sense to feel special, and that is why they will know the thing.
True. Yeah. And on the subject matter, how do you see from a devotee's wearing a devotee's hat? And also, I'm sure that you're also a secular world you're working.
Yes.
So how do you see this when you have to run a similar situation to your corporate? Assuming that you're running this program for your department or for some of the corporate colleagues, how do they see this? And from your point of view, how do they react? Yes.
Want to benefit of it, not what I want to do to them. What are they going to get? Because for everybody, what is it? I will these things to make it presentable so that it's applicable to them. So
Yeah. Yes, but the subject matter is very interesting, right? Karma Prabhu answering your question. So based on the profile of the people, that you need to get to this point. but then the fundamental principle is the same. So that's why I can't box it saying that this is the presentation you go run. But there are some things you can take, something you can adopt. So I don't have a direct material which you can use globally. Yes, anyone else?
Being a devotee or non-devotee, the day-to-day life it plays a very vital role. And it's now when we are devotees, we know that in consciousness we have to be always positive and always enthusiastic with what we do, and we have to have that service-oriented attitude. And we should be, but when we are not devotee, that time also, like when
What is it when you're not?
when we consider ourselves as non-devotee in the either platform that we are executing, on the day-to-day life also we see that on a when I am in a material job, so my role is almost similar in my workplace also. I have to do my own. So when I build my team. To my team, I give the clear instruction that okay, people know a little bit less technical is fine, but will not take people with very high baggage or high attitude. That attitude keeps playing the role in such a way that okay, we do not want team members who come with very high baggage of not able to cooperate. So this is something which definitely helps in terms of there's sometimes presenting to them also that okay, this is what you are. Attitude. This is what you can become when you have this thing. So in the corporate world also these kind of valuable message.
Yeah.
People at least think, they get think that okay, if I'm here and I'm not here today, what will bring me there? So then we can slowly see the thought of Krishna consciousness can be created in the spiritual world. Spiritually, then it can take you there.
Introspect.
Yeah.
You will instigate them to introspect.
Correct. That's
And on the contrary to the spiritual side, there you are a boss on a boss on a boss.
Yeah.
Here, das on a das on a das. So you can't see how others are, and you need to introspect how I am. That's the difference. Not completely the two polarities of material world and spiritual world. So there you say, oh, this guy, what is that they do? I have done many years back. What did I say? That brick and Mayers. Brick and Mayers. Mayers and bricks, huh? Reyes and bricks. You said that exactly they do this to map to ensure that they achieve the same purpose. The boss will do this quietly. They ask you to do this, go through this assessment. Why? Because you want to know that as a boss, who all people will be positive and here to me. And once the assessment is done, you know where the next wicket is going to fall in your group. Because you don't want that guy. Because somewhere some indication you need. So over a period of time, you'll see that boss who don't get along, that will get either transferred to some other division or he has to find the next job. That's how the bosses work.
Sometimes we see
Elimination process. But in spiritual life, if you don't change your attitude, we eliminate ourselves. People are not going to just want you. People don't want to deal with you. In Krishna consciousness, what is going to be our life? If all the association, they just going to I can't deal with this Prabhu. Everybody's going to say that it's a downfall for us.
Actually, what happens now in the whoever cannot or they are used to bossing over in the material life, they try to do that in the spirit when they come to in the association of devotees. They fail to see that the devotees are very nice. They're just being tolerant and they're just they're applying the principles of devotional service. But sometimes some people fail to see that, and they try to boss over the devotees. The devotees may be tolerant, but then we need to see that Krishna is not tolerant. And that's when Prabhu said, when Krishna is not tolerant, then he eliminates. We don't get neither will we get the happiness of doing devotional service, nor can we get the value of, experience the value of being in the association.
Majari, but the problem here is, by the time Krishna does something with that person, many of the devotees, innocent or upcoming, they would have gone away. But that's another problem, right?
Yeah, so
Krishna may eliminate, but how can we handle those people? Then?
And those persons will be really much closer to the very senior devotees, and they know so many big, or not only like Maharajas also, they are very close to them.
the fundamental principle of this whole Krishna consciousness, Mataji, Krishna is saying, whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice, he himself discern and he eliminate. Like that, Krishna is there who's watching. It's a question of time when things going to happen. You have to be steadfast in your devotion service, not worried about why they are doing this. The question is that again, it is not why others are not doing, how I am not seeing and influenced by this negative reaction. It's going to be there because this is Kali Yuga. This is material world.
It's more challenging.
If that is not happening, you should be surprised.
Very challenging.
If that is not happening, you should be surprised because that's going to happen because it's an elimination process.
We have to be work with them. So that's what
So that is why that is.
So
Again, here we have to see that that is a test for us, whether how steadfast we are in spite of all this, how dependent are we on the Lord, and how we want to stick to the process. Krishna is testing us. So whether we are passing the test.
think raised a very important point. Krishna is testing this. All this is how we have done it. So it's a testing for us whether we are able to uplift ourselves.
We are ready to go to the next level. Whether we are ready to go to the next level. So these tests are coming. So when we pass these tests, then we go to the next level. Like how Prabhu said yesterday, each level we have exams. The first grade, second grade, third grade. Every grade has exams.
What did he say?
Then we have to be the same.
Because it's a sincerity at the end of the day.
We have to be in the same grade.
We will fail.
Sorry?
They will pass and we will fail.
Exactly. That's exactly the point I'm making. We are, it's like that's a Swamiji who carried the woman and crossed the river story.
Yeah.
Right? You are worried about why the Swami carried. The Swamiji crossed and put the woman and just went ahead. The disciple was thinking all about the woman.
He was carrying her in the head. He put her physically, but then he is carrying her in the head.
So that means we are not, we should not be thinking much about those people.
See, we don't have any control, Paramatma Prabhu. But since you are Paramatma Prabhu, I'm a little scared and worried also. It's applicable for me. I can't have control because you are a Paramatma, so I can't say that. But I'm saying, it's very difficult to control anyone, right? By our own action. Only with love we can change it.
And depend.
Yes, sir.
Let us leave the controlling to the Lord.
No, controlling is one thing. What I'm saying is, if I am a very bad person and I'm bossing, a boss, okay, and so many people are struggling with this damage. Okay, because I'm in a position, because I have some other things, they keep calm, they're tolerating. Okay, but some person who is maybe like me or worse than me may make friendship with me because they want to use me, and they are making a problem with others. That means I am so ignorant that I'm thinking I'm great, and this guy who is using me. Okay, he also is taking, I have full control, but other people are struggling.
So the point is, you also seen, and even in Krishna consciousness, that many people lose their position. It's not that we starting from Brahma. He also lost his chair, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's applicable for everyone. We are installed in the chair on behalf of the Lord to execute in certain Krishna conscious activities. If that gets into your head that I'm going to be permanently in the chair, we have a problem. So I have not seen that somebody is boss forever. They get eliminated. So you see all that because you can't comprehend the fact that this is so overwhelming that you get disturbed, and the disturbance is what is coming to your mind. That is actually pushing your attitude.
And also,
Don't get influenced by that. How the Krishna conscious philosophy helps us, right, to understand.
And Krishna will not act as per our, urgency. He knows when he has to act. so that by that he's teaching us patience. He's teaching us patience, how patient we are.
Sometimes it's usually Krishna is partial to it.
It's not saying this impartial. So then, yeah, Mataji on the queue. Yes.
Basically, this is my work experience. In work time, one of our managers always used to do extra work to me, and there is another person who is also spiritually practicing other organization. And he had a lot of attitude. So after work hours, he will never take any request. But I used to extend and I used to support that, to be nice with him. And as a Krishna Master devotee, I have to have good impression about organization. So not always, but when critical situation comes, I used to extend and take the request from the manager. So when the time came when I needed you for our yatra and festivals, everything, my manager never said no to. But the person who shown attitude from other organization was with this. He shown attitude, so he got never leave whenever he wanted. So attitude basically helps
Yes.
so it is proper. And that person, manager, when I was leaving that project, he personally came down and told me, you both practice spirituality. That person also read Bhagavad Gita, you also read Bhagavad Gita. But I see you have some different nature, and I really appreciate your organization. I used to come to the temple, take darshan and be devoting and like. So it basically it's a representation of our moment.
Credit goes to Prabhupada.
Definitely there is an these days that has Krishna body. So people look forward some attributes in that person's this thing. When it is not matching, then people start comparing, that okay, he is a devotee, you are a devotee.
In spite of we not being a serious devotee, they see there's some devotee value. If you become devotee, how much they will see?
Yeah, exactly. They start comparing, that's okay. This person is a devotee, this person is a devotee, but still there is so much of difference. But again, the same point, that people, individuality is different. Some people have inborn certain traits.
Past conditioning.
Yeah. So because of that, they behave in a different manner. So we cannot anticipate the same behavior from two different devotees, different devotees.
I certainly agree, but then you also need to introspect that whether, like I tried explaining, more business, more loss. Is that what you want to achieve? So, you see, I made friends with many devotees. Thank God, this person is stopped at this level. Otherwise, more devotees will be in trouble. Others are going to speak like that. Is the credit what you want to? In Krishna consciousness life, that we need to introspect and take help from any devotees. We need to ask. This is what is said that speak a spiritual master. Ask, please instruct me. Because Kali Yuga is very hard. And spiritual masters don't give instruction. That's different. And at least you can ask senior devotees you are dealing with regularly. Can you just, not every day. We don't want to harass the seniors also. So once in a while, like we have a quarterly assessment. You say, I don't know how I'm doing. I know how many people I offended. I know my action brought some kind of disharmony in the association, disharmony in the Bhakti Viksha, whatever you're doing. Ask this question humbly, because if you're seriously wanted to change and seriously wanted people to change the attitude, what they have or opinion they have about you, we need to change. We can't change them. So it's not that whatever we do, it's just my past life condition. So every week I at least suffered and then harassed 2 people. Right? That's not our birthright.
Just imagine if somebody else is doing to us, will we like it? And I don't like something, then how should I put the other person in the same?
So see, your point is valid. Everybody has some kind of positive conditioning. How that positive conditioning can be eradicated? She asked a valid question. By being nicely Krishna conscious. And which is what Sadhana Bhakti, reading Srila Prabhupada books, your own wisdom will improve. Oh, what kind of a person I am? Vaishnava K. What kind of a devotee I am? Everybody has to think like that. The fundamental point is that if you're not mature in Krishna consciousness, it's very difficult to, change your attitude. So we need to anchor for it, aspire for it. And how it works? And the devotees, senior devotees, they all help us to overcome such hurdles in our path. Otherwise, we are thinking we are nice devotees. But if every devotee thinks I'm a nice devotee, then we have a problem. We want everyone to be nice. But then if everyone thinks that I'm a nice devotee, then we have a problem. Why? Others has to say they are nice. Not that everybody start thinking I'm nice.
It's again positive.
Yeah. So others have to certify you're nice. That is a credit for us. And that the credit is not for us. It is for Srila Prabhupada again. Nothing belongs to us technically as a devotee of the Lord. The process changes. We give credit for the process.
The great acharyas are saying they are not good devotees. So when the great acharyas are saying they are not good devotees, what are we? And then unfortunately, we think we are very nice. And we think everybody.
Technically speaking, we have nothing to stake claim in this whole process. Because we are associated with the process changes, and we give credit for the process. And the acharyas and the Lord. So when you have this understanding, you're so free. Otherwise, this false ego start jumping. I met this devotee. Why he not paid obeisance to me? Hare Baba, he has to pay obeisance to the Lord. Why do you expect?
Process of Bhakti Moksha, I understand that you get very fresh, pure chanters, until the initiation, and then they'll also start a Bhakti Moksha. But not everybody is at that stage of handling a Bhakti Moksha, right? Some people are, as you said, maturity, a sane person will never think I'm mature enough. Even now, I don't think I'm mature, but I'm doing it. But some people jump into things and they try to do things. And how do you see that, the given people, you should start with them? How do I go and see that? Leadership qualities are there by nature, but
First of all, you should get trained.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're identifying. So that's a fundamental. So how do you identify it, First. So there are some actions performed by such members will qualify them to become an intern or a future potential Bhakti leaders. And they are not made overnight. Like in an organization, your department head, along with the HR, they partner to identify the high posts, right? High potential employees. And they are tracked, identified, and the list goes up to the top level. Because they want the high potential employees. They don't want to be in the same stream. They get rewarded, they have best brain, so they need to have a special fast track. So there's a process. Similarly, spiritual life also is a process. If somebody is a wonderful devotee, Krishna marks them and put in front of you so that they can do so many things. You should learn that. It's a personal training for us also.
Right. Experience.
But the fundamental principle is when a person like me can render devotion service, anyone else can perform. That should be our attitude. Then you see anyone who can actually perform bhakti. And anyone can actually become leaders.
And also what happens when we are constantly in touch with the senior who's helping us and we are updating the progress of the members, then the senior also will help us to identify who can be the next intern. Then we start training them as intern leaders, and then slowly then they come up.
There are many variations of that. Somebody is very good in the subject, but very bad attitude. That's what again the whole thing comes back to this.
Or somebody who may be very enthusiastic to do, but neither are they good in the subject matter, nor do they have a good attitude.
It's obvious. And who is responsible for all that correction? Paramatma Prabhu or the Bhakti Viksha. There's no other shortcut. Who are the in between via media? If anything goes wrong with the members, or neck is on the chopping block. And you also get credit for what you did. Opposite also, you have to be ready.
Because whatever efforts you are putting to do that, whether you are successful or not, but Krishna is seeing those efforts, that you're sincerely interested in bringing somebody to him, trying to, like uncut diamond, you're polishing and cutting and polishing, and then you're offering him to her Srila Prabhupada, who will offer to the Supreme Lord. So the Lord is actually appreciating the efforts. That's